One more thing about the keypad before we move on. The keypad is in fact a live keypad. Effectively what that means is one button less to press each time you perform an action. Not particularly important, but if you'd ever have this feature on a telephone system in the past and somebody took it away from you, you would actually miss it. If for example you want to dial another extension, on most phone systems you lift the handset, and if you want to dial 209, 209, 209 rings. If you want to do the same thing on hook, speaker followed by 209, you got the same thing going for you. On this system however you don't have to do that, just go straight for the keypad, dial 209. The system's clever enough to know to go off hook and dial the extension you want. Indeed, if you have a button set up for 209, what we call a direct station select key, just hit the 209 key, the system will go off hook and automatically dial that extension. Small point, but as I say, if somebody took it off you, you would miss it. Moving along, next keys are called fixed keys. The keys that Samsung think you're going to use on a regular basis. The first one, the volume key, we've already used for one thing. We've scrolled up through the alphabet. However, it does actually 20 functions. We'll just show you 3 more of those. If you were dialing on hook, tapping the volume key, tapping the volume key would increase or decrease the volume of the speaker accordingly. If you were dialing off hook, all of a sudden now the same key will give you the ability to adjust the speaker volume on the handset. If you raise this, it does actually make it quite loud. I said 3 things, just show you one more. So if we dial extension 209, while that extension is ringing, tapping the volume key down will decrease the ring volume of that particular extension. Incidentally, just one point of interest, on the Samsung telephone system we do actually have 8 different types of ringtones, and you can attribute those to particular caller IDs. So when the boss calls up, you can always make it make a particular noise. Alternatively, you could attribute it to a specific direct dial number. So if for example your key client dials in, as well as just putting key client hotline in the screen of the telephone, we can actually make the telephones ring differently. Moving down the fixed keys, the next one is the redial key. All phone systems have a redial key. It's slightly more powerful on the Samsung system. If you hit redial, rather than dial the last number, it shows it you. And if you hit the minus key, it shows you the last but 1, last but 2, last but 3, last but 4, and so on. Each telephone will remember the last 10 outbound calls it's made. Next key down is the conference key. The conference key allows you to dial up to 5 people into a conference where you are one of those 5. So you can have 4 people either inside or outside of your building in a conference call, and that will of course save you some cash on using conference services from networks. Now the next thing I'd like to move on to on the telephone system focuses on the display. So we're just going to move the camera in so we can let you see the display here. On the top line of the telephone you should see the caller ID, or in this case my name, Tony Mobile, and in the bottom line of display the tag against the direct dial number that I have dialed, in this case the Wigan Metropolitan Borough Council helpline. If however now I dial a different number, if I dial another DDI number, I've still told this DDI number to ring at this telephone, but this time in screen, notice this is a different ring by the way. On the top line it's still showing that it's Tony Mobile's phone, but on the bottom line you can see that I'm calling the Independent Financial Advisors Ombudsman Helpline. Just an important point really, because not all telephone systems offer the ability to show both the caller ID information on the top line and on the bottom line simultaneously show the DDI information. So effectively what the Samsung is telling you is who is calling at the same time as why they are calling. So you know the purpose of the call as well as who the caller is.